Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks, and I'm here today with set number 71312, Ekimu the Mask Maker from Bionicle. This is from 2016 in the summer wave, ages 7 to 14, has 94 pieces, and retails for $15 in the United States. This is a good improvement on Ekimu based on his previous version where he was more of a protector type build, much smaller, more compact. This one is more of a Toa type build, and I couldn't really find any information as of recording this video as far as why he gets this transformation, but I think it has something to work in with the 2016 storyline nonetheless. This is actually a pretty good build because you have two different types of gearboxes that are used in here. You have the gearbox that he used in 2015, as much as the other Toa used as well. You can see that on the top. And you also have the 2016 waist build, which, yeah, some fans aren't really a fan of, but I kind of like it, but it does take some getting used to. This turns relatively like the other ones. It's a little stiff, but it still gets the job done. Makes for some posability, and the gearbox in the top only has it for working on this arm. This one has a ball joint inside of here, so it makes the movement more frictioned and more stiff as a result. So, yes, the shoulder armor does get in the way of it, so you can see how the arm just kind of jutted out just by moving it up and down. You can move these a little bit, but not much. So you can get a little bit around that, but you can obviously move the arm by itself on its own ball joints on several articulations. The back is pretty well covered for what they do with the CCBS pieces. A little bit, spacious there. That's a good idea for covering the back. Pretty easy to construct that. And I do like how they add some of the build-in to hold up the shoulder armor. Now, as far as the shield, this is supposed to, well, according to the box art, it looks like it's supposed to spin, but it's actually very sturdy and not really supposed to spin. None of the pieces make it so, and yet it is nice that you can move it back and forth, as well as moving the arm itself back and forth. It's a stationary arm, so it doesn't interfere with the gearbox, but it doesn't have that spinning function that the box seems to claim. Now, the hammer on this side is actually not the same hammer as before, where it had a stud launcher type system. This one is a different build, which is nice, and it has a new crystal shard piece, which I haven't seen personally in any of the other Bionicle sets up to this point. So that's very nice to get. The chest armor is all printed piece, which is pretty cool, and has its own symbol on it as well, and even has a combination of some of the other symbols from the Toa, which is actually pretty neat. I do like how the mask is in a newer trans blue color, because it adds more specialty to it, instead of having the same pearl gold mask that we had in 2015. The color spread is, well, probably one of the things I don't like that much about this set. I mean, they do integrate the black and the dark bluish gray, as they do with a lot of the other Bionicle figures, but I understand with this figure it's supposed to be trans blue and pearl gold. But the problem is, you don't see a lot of pearl gold. You do see little bits on each of the arms and legs. It's supposed to be on the chest armor, but it's a print, so it doesn't really show that well, in the mash of everything else there. So I would have liked to see if there's a little bit more there. Maybe even use it on these pieces towards the shoulder armor. Which, by the way, this shoulder armor piece is the same one used from 2015. And again, makes it appropriate that this is the same figure. Here's a closer look at the chest armor with that nice print on the top of it. I'm not really going to show the bottom because there's not much to it. And you can also get a better look at the trans blue Mask of Creation. Now, I do understand that he's supposed to be brought back to life and actually make some of the masks for the Toa in the first wave from the early part of 2016. But as far as this role, it only really shows in the box art that he's fighting Umarak the Destroyer, no longer the Hunter. Umarak wears the Mask of Creation, becomes this monstrous thing. Mask of Control, and becomes a monstrous thing. As with all the Toa and most of the protectors, you can take the mask off with this system in the back, and they actually do include Umarak's mask, but in a trans orange color. So that's actually pretty cool. Works pretty well for, holding onto the head. Doesn't really work well with the figure itself. From what they show on the back of the box, they do not have any combo builds for this figure and any of the other figures. The Umarak the Destroyer figure, as well as some of the other creatures in this line, do have a 3-in-1 combo build, which actually looks pretty impressive, but Ekimu is pretty much on his own to try to fight off all of them. In fact, taking a look back in the instructions, here's a quick look at it, just to show on screen actually 4 of them that are in this big, massive build. It really has a good appearance to it. But for right now, there's really not much else in the back of the instructions. You get that little comic that's on the back of the box. Get a very nice, I would wish that was a poster. That looks very cool. And that's all there is to it. Honestly, I think this is a worthy figure to pick up. Even if you're not gonna collect all the Bionicle figures, this is a prominent one that actually has some story importance. As far as getting it in this version of the Mask of Creation versus the second, the original one in Pearl Gold, that's up to you to decide. Let me know what you guys think about this set in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll talk again about other LEGO Bionicle sets. I've reviewed many other ones from 2015 and even years before, and I plan to go back even further on the Bionicle set history. I'll even try to do some more from this series if I can get more, but we'll see you next time with more LEGO videos.